Recording. What's up, guys? I'm getting ready to go to the gym. That's why I'm wearing this. So, I don't know if I should give you an update. I missed the whole day, dude. I actually thought today was Sunday, but turned out to be Saturday. So I gained a whole day based on the schedule that I have for this week, which is fun because I imagined like I'd be doing stuff today, but now I kind of have the whole day to just go through more things on the to-do list, I guess. So here we go. I guess this is thing number two. Video of the day. Can always die, it's living that takes courage. Himura Kenshin. So Himura Kenshin, it's from an anime, it's from a manga that I actually watch. Himura Kenshin is Ronin, right? I forgot now. Ronin. Uh, Himura Kenshin. It's a manga about a guy that fought a war, and when the war was done, realized basically that that's not what he fought for, and then he basically takes his sword, a samurai sword, and turns it backwards, which means the front edge does not cut and the back edge cuts. And it's the beauty of this manga is Ronin Kenshin is called Rurouni Kenshin. Basically, he becomes a Ronin after like the war and shit like this. But he says something: you can always die, and it's living that takes courage. And just like goes back to the warrior's mentality, I guess, because a lot of people would rather die for honor. It also reminds me of a different quote by some American guy. I completely forgot. He was like one of those like generals or something that turned writers after like the war. He says that only true people that left the war are the people that died there. Because like something like this, like a big traumatic incident in your life, it's war, right? It's drama. It's like fighting. It's like people dying. Something like that kind of like sticks with you. And the nature of how I think, like, I haven't been to war, so like what I'm saying right now is based on what I kind of like got from reading, right? So the nature of these is like, what are we willing to die for, right? But then if we switch the actual rhetoric and we go, what are we willing to live for? Because it seems to be easier for us to die. And like the day by day kind of like approach to life is the one true thing that requires our kind of like interaction. Uh, so it's the courage that he's speaking about is just kind of like, all right, so if my mind right now is thinking like the courage normally that, or when we say courage, what we're effectively doing is we're kind of like risking something, right? It's like this is what's the difference between the courageous, the brave, and the basically foolish. It's like if you run straight up to a machine gun, it's not you being brave or courageous. It's just kind of like foolishness, right? And that makes me reflect as well on when we were here, basically, 2 years ago or 3 years ago, there was like a mini revolution that like the whole world was excited to kind of watch because it was entertaining. Uh, we decided to bring down the government, and like not we, I wasn't here, and I did my share of kind of like protesting and revolting in the early 2000s. So I learned from that, and that's basically what I'm kind of like sharing right now, maybe. So a lot of people that went there just went there to kind of be present in the whole like we're changing the world or we're changing the country kind of thing. And I thought it was the most foolish thing to do because like, many people before that have tried through revolutions. I'm speaking just here, forget the rest of the world and what we learned from revolutions. So what happened was we basically a lot of people to kind of prove their resolve towards the change would stand in the line of gunfire where proper shots were shot by government officials and political parties because they'd stand on each other's side. It's funny because in politics, you never know who the opposing side is. We think they're all wearing the same uniform, that they're representing the country. But the reality is, select people would be chosen to go there, and these select people are biased, and they would literally take the law into their own hands, or just like see how, whatever, man. It was fun to watch people get shot in the face, and shot in the face by like rubber bullets, I guess that's what they call them, losing their eyes, and just kind of like they started taking selfies and taking pride in that, and then basically it was like, I'm one of the guys that got shot in the eye back in the day, and it's like, you lost an eye for what? So that the reason I'm thinking about that is because like it's like people preferred to die but didn't want to do the deed themselves, so they would rather be shot under a cause for them to feel like they did something honorable, like they're representing the resilience of Lebanese people. I got shot, yay. Anyways, not diving deeper into the traumas of our past. What could they have done differently, I guess, if they really wanted this to work, other than just they wanted to kind of like tell the story that they were there and they got shot? And for me, that's what kind of like this is representing. Like you can always die. It's living that takes courage. It's what we do every single day towards that cause that kind of would eventually make the difference. If we just go and protest for a month, a year, what does that do? Nothing. It's literally like a child throwing a tantrum. They eventually either run out of energy or they just kind of like develop a normalcy towards that tantrumish behavior, I guess. So it's courage that takes, it's living that takes courage. Just imagine every single day the courage it takes for you to intentionally follow through on the things that you actually say you want to do. I'm assuming that's actually the better way to look at it. Because if we just to look at our day and be like, what part of our day did we truly live? What part of our day did we actually like experience life as like how we would want to experience life? And most of the time, you kind of like realize that there's a bigger chunk, depending on the kind of person you are, it's kind of not given to the life you want to live. And I think that's where courage is derived in this sentence or in this quote by Himura Kenshin. It's funny because, oh, nice. There's another quote below it by Gintama, but I'll leave that like to the next video. Gintama is my favorite anime of all fucking time. Although I'm a big One Piece fan and I'm like very much into the story, it shifted my life. But Gintama as an anime, super beautiful, man. Just like beyond everything about it, everything. And it's super funny. I would recommend it to anyone. But so, anyways, courage to wake up every day and to actually remind yourself that all that's important, I guess, is what the present moment dictates from you. I think our entire energy, if just because like focusing doesn't really mean taking your energy and putting it on one thing. I, the way I see it is focus is just removing your energy from everything else. And that doesn't take effort. It shouldn't. It's like I'm thinking about this, I don't want to think about it. Oh, if I'm thinking about this, I'm doing this, I don't want to do this, or it's not what I want should be doing right now, or that's not what the moment wants from me right now, or I want. Like you can use the words, you kind of like choose. It's fine. We always when we're fighting with these words, especially how we're expressing ourselves, we're innately kind of like I think just kind of like pulling something that's ingrained in us and we're moving it to a different direction. So when the moment kind of like tells you this is what I want from you, I think focus kind of becomes the whole, all right, you're the one who's going to take my energy for now. And I think that's the most courageous thing to do is to kind of like eliminate distractions because like that's where facing life and facing reality is. Because you are standing right there while everything is happening. While when you're thinking about other stuff, you're not really kind of like, when you're thinking of other stuff, you're literally going to different spaces within this reality of yours that don't really exist, which means they kind of like all the energy spent on them comes with risk, while the present moment is just kind of like effortlessly flowing. I don't know, is it because our nature as human beings is to kind of like pull, and I think the ego always reverts back to, I want to be pushing the energy out. Whilst if you reflect on yourself and you're actually focused, the energy is being taken out. And I think that basically could be the difference that I'm looking at. It's like life basically, to be courageous is, when they say letting go, basically is allowing the energy to be taken from you, but by the things that you actually decide, instead of pushing the energy on stuff just for the sake of feeling like you're being productive. That's a fucking good video. And I'm gonna have to like write another one about the whole like energy, you pushing it out and the ego pushes your energy out. And all right, I think I'll do this video directly after this. It's a video.